In this opinion piece, growth tank management consultant David Willey looks into research on the usage of voice assistants and access to smart speakers for Generation Z, Millennials and Generation X in Australia. We hear a lot about how Millennials, and now Generation Z, are changing the game on marketing by adopting the latest technology, including digital voice assistants on smartphones and speakers. Recent U.S. research supports such claims. For example, a study by AppDynamics suggested that adoption of voice technology by millennials was very strong, with 71% reporting that they use voice assistants on a daily basis. This may be explained by other data from a marketer, which showed that the U.S. smart speaker user base was dominated by the affluent, older millennial male. There have also been claims that this technology is changing buyer behavior, with Verve's research suggesting that 2/3 of millennials and Gen Z are interested in discovering, exploring, and buying new products with the help of emerging interfaces such as voice-based virtual assistants. However, as voice assistants are still in the early phase of adoption, there is limited data on behavior, and most research has focused on the younger age bracket. But is there any evidence to suggest that age impacts voice assistant usage, and does it differ in the Australian market? We recently conducted a survey of more than 1,500 Australians aged 14 to 54 years as part of the Custoptimize research series for the upcoming EMA conference. About a third of the people we surveyed claimed to have used voice assistants in the past month, and this was similar across Gen Z, 38%, Millennials, 36%, and Gen X, 32%. What was clear was the difference for those who had a smart speaker, e.g., Google Home or Amazon Echo, in their home. The research showed that about 1 in 5 people surveyed claimed to have access to a smart speaker within their home, with no meaningful differences by generation, and that these people were much more likely to have used voice functions in the past month when compared to those who didn't have access to a smart speaker, 66% versus 26%. We also looked at the types of voice functions people were using. This result is not unsurprising, since we also found that 2/3 of the last voice requests were conducted via a mobile phone or tablet. And despite claimed interest in other research, we found that shopping-related queries were still rare, making up only 2%. We did see some limited differences between the generational groups. For example, Gen Z were more likely to play music, radio and podcasts, while Millennials Gen X were more likely to make phone calls or send messages. However, we saw much more variation for requests when split by device. That is, almost all, 91%, of phone messaging requests were actioned on a smartphone or tablet, while music, radio, podcasts requests were more commonly actioned on a smart speaker. Peter Hammer, director of the Marketing Scientist Group and lead researcher on the Custoptimize research series, said we hear a lot about the differences of younger generations, especially Gen Z and Millennials, but often when we look at the data we see that they aren't that different from Gen X. What this data shows is that technology, such as smartphones and speakers, has a much greater impact on usage, and that placing too much focus on age may have limited benefit. Smart speakers, the voice of a generation, BNT.